Most of you already know your friendship is over, but you keep staying because leaving feels selfish. So the problem is not them, it's you. Meanwhile, the longer you stay, the more you lose yourself without even noticing it. Some friendships only survive because neither of you changes. And a lot of people stay in unhealthy friendships and call it loyalty. But that's not always true. Sometimes people stay because the friendship became familiar. Same people, same conversations, same habits, same energy. And even when the connection doesn't feel right, that familiarity feels safe. That's why some of you already know the friendship is draining you and still leaving feels uncomfortable. Because now it's not just a person, it's a routine, it's history, it's part of your identity. You got used to texting them, seeing them, talking to them, being a certain version of yourself around them. And the brain gets attached to patterns very quickly, even the unhealthy ones. That's why people can stay in friendships where they no longer inspire them, understands them, supports them, even make them happy anymore, because the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar change. This is where most people confuse attachment with connection. Just because you have history with someone doesn't mean they're gonna be part of your future. Because deep down, you already know it's over. When you talk to them, you feel forced. You don't feel the same way you did before because you're no longer the same person you were with them. But instead of accepting it, people start forcing connections to survive. Why? Because leaving creates uncertainty, and that uncertainty forces you to face yourself. So who are you without that circle, that routine, that version of yourself attached to those people? And this is where most people avoid it, because it's not just losing others, it's losing familiarity. And this is fucking dangerous because you tolerate being drained long enough and eventually it starts being normal. You tolerate being in environments that no longer matches you, and eventually you even forget who you were about to become in the first place. That's why staying in the wrong relationships quietly changes people. Because if you stay in that relationship that's familiar, you shrink your goals to fit the environment. People love your growth until it changes your availability. And this is where the emotional conflict starts between who you were with them and who you're becoming, because now your priorities, your habits, your standards, your values, everything got changed. Growth changes excess, and this is where the old friendship dynamic breaks, because who you were was their favorite. Your growth exposes your environment. Your discipline will expose the ones who was avoidance. Your ambition will expose the ones who was comfort seeking. Every change that you created that is in alignment with the person you want to become, the people who is not that will resist that change. And you becoming someone different forces them to confront themselves. And most of the time they say, oh, I miss you. No, they miss the old version of you, the available one. And the pressure you feel right now is evidence of transformation. And this is where guilt comes in to control you. Some people stay loyal to others while abandoning themselves. And this is where you feel that pressure in your heart when you want to leave. Fear of being judged by the people who already decided to not understand you. Fear of loneliness. Fear of being perceived as selfish person, fear of hurting people, and feeling responsible for other people's emotion. Outgrowing people feels selfish when your identity was built around keeping everyone comfortable. And distance doesn't mean you hate them necessarily. It's honesty. You can still care about someone and realize they are no longer fit in the life you're trying to build. And the real question here becomes, how do you leave without creating a war? You don't have to react emotionally, or you are a bitch, you are a whore, you are a manipulator, you did this to me, this is why you're not a good person. No, you're going to keep your own peace. Because the calmer you are, the power is in your hand. You need to stop forcing connection. You need to stop doing the things you did before that made you feel drained, used, left behind, less focused. And most of the time, you already know what you should be doing. So do that. And being honest about how you feel and about your goals isn't cruelty. The cost of becoming the version of you that you want is your environment, your relationships, and the things you were comfortable with. So if you wanna create that life that you want, you're gonna be alone. And here you need to understand something. Growth isn't superiority. It's realizing every human being has different directions, and different directions doesn't mean better. And wrong people consume the space right people need. This is where you feel the most heaviest emotions, and you will experience a temporary loneliness. And you learn how to be alone. You rebuild your identity, and you no longer perform for belonging in the wrong places. That loneliness you feel after growth is normal, because when you are used to a lot of distractions, loneliness feels uncomfortable. And I'm not gonna say you're gonna make your own family, finding new friends like this, but you will find those things easily when you're no longer busy with the wrong people. And being alone temporarily is much better than being stuck in a place permanently. Some relationships don't end when people leave. They end the moment you realize you can no longer become who you want to be while staying the same around the same people. And deep down, you already know which are those people.